Hey friends, welcome to Hayes' Guitar Studio. Today we are doing a music fundamentals lesson, practicing rhythms, keeping time, and subdividing the beat. In studying jazz, I realized that rhythm is the most fundamental element of music. Number one, at least for me. Chords and melody, of course, they're also important. But we're starting with rhythm, and we'll get to those in later videos. If you like practice content or you're working on learning guitar or learning music in general, hit subscribe. Come practice with me. This video is inspired by lessons I took with an amazing guitar player and educator, Rodham Sivan. Find his channel over here. He's got a lot of awesome stuff on YouTube. This lesson is also inspired by Fish's Trey Anastasio, who recently posted some lessons on Facebook. Make sure to check those out too. Today we are going to practice rhythms by subdividing. We're going to practice subdividing beats with a metronome, first on a pillow or drum with our hands, and then second on guitar. A metronome is a device that marks consistent time, measured in BPM, or beats per minute. What is a beat? A beat is the most basic unit of rhythm. Again, back to clapping your hands or tapping your feet when you listen to music. Usually, we tap out the beats instinctively. This is not always true. As music gets more complicated, we don't always have the right beats, but it's a good starting place. In the next rhythm lesson, we're going to discuss how we organize and deal with beats as musicians, but for today, we're just going to take it one beat at a time and practice our rhythm skills. Today, we are going to treat each click of the metronome as one beat. There are several ways to practice with a metronome, a lot of ways to practice with a metronome, but we are starting with one click equals one beat. Let's listen to our metronome. I'm using a real metronome today. These are really cool. They're fun to watch, fun to listen to. Some people find this sound very annoying. As a musician, you get used to it, you learn to love it. I love it. If you don't have a real metronome, that's no problem. Download a phone app, find one online. There's lots of options for metronomes these days. If you practice subdividing consistently, your time feel will improve dramatically. This improves every part of your musical life, especially playing with other people. If you want to play with a drummer or you're playing with another guitar player, the better your time feel is, the better your results will be. Let's get into the practice. I'm going to use a pillow today to tap on like a drum, inspired by Trey Anastasio. This is a very simple thing to do. We all have them around. It's really just about tapping out the beats. We're not too worried about the sound or the exact instrument we're using at this moment. I'm setting my metronome on 72 beats per minute. These real metronomes have kind of funny clicks. You can't get to every one, so 72 is a nice starting spot. If you practice this at home, I recommend somewhere between 60 and 80 is a nice place to be. That's sort of a medium, slow tempo. Tempo is how fast or slow something is going. How many beats per minute do we have often determines our tempo. Okay, I'm going to turn on my metronome now. We'll listen to it together before we get started. In doing this practice, I cannot emphasize enough that you want to listen to your metronome. Beginners often want to look at their metronome. That's fine. Better to use your ears and tune into it. That's really what we're here to do. As we listen to this metronome, we can hear the clicks happening at a consistent pace. You want to keep tuning into that with your ears throughout this practice, before you start the practice and throughout the practice. You're going to get off. I'm going to get off today. When you get off from your rhythms, get back to your metronome. Use your ears to get back to your metronome. Okay, we're going to start with one simple quarter note, just a tap on each beat. I'm going to use just my right hand for this first one because we're going to bring in the second hand as we get more complicated. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tapping with each click. This is called a quarter note. It's the most basic unit of most music. Practicing quarter notes may seem simple. It's really important that you can get right close to that click. You'll hear me, sometimes I'll be really on, sometimes I'll be a little off. That's no problem. That's why we practice. One more time, quarter notes, here we go. Okay, that's our quarter notes. That's tapping on each click of the metronome. That's a great starting place. From here, we're going to start subdividing the beat into groups of 2, 3, and 4s. These are really the most basic rhythms you see consistently when you play music. This is a really nice place to start. The 3s and the 4s in particular are going to be too fast for some of you at the beginning. That's fine. Practice your quarter notes, practice your groups of 2s. That's a great starting spot. Today we are going to count our subdivisions just as numbers. So for 2, I'm going to say 1, 2, 1, 2. For 3, I'll say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That type of thing. As we start to talk about organizing beats and how we count music as musicians, we will use other words for these subdivisions. But for today, it's nice to just think about the numbers in each beat. Let's get to 2s. These are called eighth notes. Starting my metronome. Listening to the click again before I get started. Now we're going to do groups of 2s. I'm going to go right, left, right, left, right, left. Using 2 hands now. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You can hear I get off sometimes, that's fine. Listen for the clicks. Try and stay on. Get back on. Awesome. Those are called eighth notes. Groups of 2. 2 notes per beat. Subdivision of 2. Next up is a group of 3. I'm going to keep alternating hands. Do whatever you can. It's more about playing the rhythm than it is doing the hands exactly right or anything like that. Here we go. I'm going to start my metronome. Thinking about 3s now. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. You'll notice I tend to accent. The downbeats, the clicks. So when doing 3, I tend to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, putting more emphasis on the notes where the clicks are. That helps you stay in time and really feel your timing, especially at first. Okay, so that's our group of 3, often called triplets. Again, we'll talk more about how these things fit into music in later lessons. Today, just practicing subdividing. Let's practice our 4s. This one's going to get a little fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. 4s. Those are called 6. Hard to stop these metronomes. Those are called 16th notes. 4 notes per click. So now we've done 1 quarter notes, 2 notes per click, eighth notes, 3 notes per click, triplets, 4 notes per click, 16th notes. For today and for your beginning practice, just count the number. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Like that. Practice these with me. Come to this video, tap along. Put your metronome on a slow tempo. Work on it by yourself. This is a really simple practice. I cannot tell you how much this will improve your overall musicianship. As you practice this stuff and it starts to get easier, you can do what I like to call the pyramid exercise, where you change subdivisions without stopping. So we'll do 4 clicks of each subdivision. So 4 clicks of 1s, 4 clicks of 2s, 4 clicks of 3s, 4 clicks of 4s. Then you work your way back down. 4s, 3s, 2s, 1s. This is tricky stuff. I'm going to attempt it. I might mess it up. Okay, starting with 1s. Here we go. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. You can hear I'm running out of air there. It's hard to count. I'm going to do one more without counting. Follow along if you can. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I get off a little bit. This is just all natural. That's why we practice. As you practice this stuff, you get better. You learn to hear when you're off. You learn to listen to a metronome, which helps you listen to other players when you play with other people. This is really important if you want to be a collaborative musician or an improvising musician, or you want to write music. This is all really fundamental skills. For part 2 of this video, put your pillows away, get a guitar out, or whatever instrument. We're going to play one note. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to do it with one note. So I'm going to get my guitar. All right, have my guitar ready for part 2. I'm going to play just the high E string. If you're playing guitar, you can play that string with me. If you're playing another instrument, just play the note E. It'll sound cool. Or play a G sharp or something cool and harmonize with me. The really important thing to do when we're playing guitar is to alternate in this scenario. So if you're using a pick, pick up and down, alternate picking. If you're using your fingers, playing fingerstyle, use M and I to alternate. That's really important. We don't want to be one finger attacking or just down picking or anything like that. To play our rhythms, we really need to be alternating. Let's do it together. I'm going to turn my metronome back on, still on 72. I'm going to do quarter notes, just 1 per click. It is okay to down pick for your quarter notes. Every other subdivision, we want to start alternating. Here we go. Always coming back to listening to the metronome. This is really the most important part of the exercise. Listen to the clicks. Otherwise, you'll never be on. Cool. Let's go to 2s, 8th notes, down and up now. Here we go. Threes. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. 4s, you knew it was coming. One, two, three, four, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you're probably saying to yourself, Hayes, can we do the pyramid on guitar? course we can. Turning on my metronome, 72. Boom. As musicians, we learn to feel space between two set points in time. We learn to feel the space in between in all sorts of different ways. This is part of how music works. Music happens in time, and we learn to use time and play with time. Visual artists use canvases, and they play around with space. As musicians, we use time. We create things in real time, in the air around us, and the space between 2 points of time. Think about that one. Hit subscribe down below. Come practice with me.